Well, hello, Will. Welcome to our 6 simple questions for the Business Network. Would you like to
Thank you.
introduce yourself?
Yes, hi, my name's Will Kintish. I've now been working at the end of August this year for 56 years. In fact, 57 years. I was an accountant for 35 of them, and for the last 21 years, all I do is show people how to become effective and competent networkers. And that's what people are doing. They're networking. Most people either hate doing it or don't get as much out of it as they should do. And what I do is I help people build their self-confidence walking into the room, and I show them how to make the most of their time when they actually go there.
Great, thanks. And second question is, how did you get to do what you're doing?
Well, I'm a great believer in fate, Simon. 2 years before I left accountancy, I started to train as a trainer just for a hobby with the Dale Carnegie organization. And then a year after that, my accountancy firm, we got taken over by a big national firm of accountants. And a year after that, in the year 2000, the new firm said to me, Will, you're not happy here, are you? I said, I'm not. They said, look, we know you love doing your training. We'll give you a lump of money, go away, and you can go and do it full time. And it was as simple as that. I started training in networking because Dale Carnegie wrote that very famous book, which I'm sure you'll know, How to Win Friends and Influence People.
Great.
Now, that book, if you think about it, is what networking's all about. Written in 1935, no mention of networking, but I took my inspiration from that book to create what I have today.
Right. And you've enjoyed every minute, I believe.
Every day's my birthday, Simon.
Great. Obviously, the Business Network, we like to ask some personal questions, some to get to know our members better. So what's your passion? It can be hobbies, it can be sport.
Okay.
What do you enjoy?
I have 3 kids, all married, and 7 grandchildren.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, or fortunately, whichever way you like to look at it, they all live in London. So we go down there at least once a month and see them. But my big passion is hiking. I absolutely love hiking. Unfortunately, for the last 12 months, I've had various injuries. I've ruptured my Achilles tendon, and I may even have to go and have a hip operation. But having said that, at the moment, with the way things are, I can still get out. I can still manage to walk 3 miles around Heaton Park in Prestwich, where I live. But that's my big passion, hiking.
That's fantastic. And we've just been talking off air about podcasts. Would you like to recommend a podcast for people to listen to?
There's some fantastic podcasts on the actual app BBC Sounds. There's hundreds of podcasts, hundreds of radio programs on there, etc. But the one I particularly like is the one I told you a few minutes ago, which is called Evil Genius. The commentator is Russell Kane, and he talks about very, very famous people and what geniuses they are, and yet they also have a dark side. So that is interesting to hear 2 sides of Paul McCartney, George Best, the old cricketer, W.G. Grace. So that's one of my favourite podcasts.
And it can be vice versa. It can be people who you think are evil. He does highlight good things about them too, doesn't he? It's a good listen.
It is a good listen.
Yeah. Now, you mentioned Dale Carnegie. While we're doing this, we're obviously in isolation. What about books? Have you got a book that we should be reading?
Books. Well, I'm not heavy into non-fiction books, but I'm looking at my screen here because I have just read a lovely book, absolutely loved it. I was heartbroken when I put it down. It's a mystery, but with a difference. It's called Where the Crawdads, I'll spell that,
Right, yeah.
Crawdads sing. Where the Crawdads Sing by somebody called Delia Owens.
Right.
That's one book. And another book I've just read, which is real fun, I loved every minute of it, called The Corner Shop in Cocklebury Bay. That's another one. So those are two books I've just read recently.
Great, thank you.
The other thing, talking of books, I've always, all my life, been an early riser, always up 6:30 in the morning. But now I lie in bed until 8:30, and I use those 2 hours to catch up with some of these books, and that is a real treat for me.
Yeah, yeah. No, I enjoy reading, and it's you know, it's a good pastime. So the final question is, what would your words of wisdom be to everybody watching?
Well, I'm proud of a quote that I penned, and it's strategy for survival is visibility. Yeah. So I believe that unfortunately we can't do face-to-face at the moment. So we ought to be having 1, 2, or even 3, what I call virtual coffees. Another thing I penned, virtual coffees. You and I, Simon, you're sitting where you are, I'm sitting where I am. And if we had a cup of coffee in our hands, we'd be having a virtual coffee. We ought to be doing that regularly. And if you're in the advice-giving business like I am, then you ought to be giving away free advice on LinkedIn, Twitter, etc. And you, part of your business empire is products. You ought to be showing products on Instagram all the time so that people don't forget where we are, who we are, and what we sell.
Yeah, yeah. I think we're actually learning a new way of working, aren't we, at the moment? You know, and it's you know, it's forcing us to come out of our comfort zone and do these things. So it's easy to turn down a coffee when you're running around, but now we're all here. You know, it's so easy to sort out. Yeah, yeah. Well, thank you so much. It's been great.
Thanks for inviting me.
No, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Bye.